In World War II, a soldier's life often depended not on courage, but on what he carried. Some armies fielded masterpieces of engineering, others marched with outdated relics. Let's see how each nation's infantry loadout truly stacked up. The Chinese National Revolutionary Army was formed by the Kuomintang in 1925 and suffered from one of the worst logistical and industrial situations of any major army in World War II. Its soldiers were brave, but the force was crippled by poor standardization and inadequate supply. In 1924, there were only about 65,000 rifles for 100,000 men, with many troops still using obsolete or mismatched weapons. The NRA attempted to standardize with the Hanyang 88 and Chiang Kai-shek rifles, but provincial divisions relied on whatever they could obtain, creating a chaotic mix of calibers and models. The Czech ZB-26 light machine gun was excellent and widely used, yet many units had no machine guns at all. Ammunition shortages and a lack of spare parts made even good weapons unreliable in the field. Arsenals like Hanyang produced only about 3,200 rifles per month, far below wartime needs, and relocating factories inland after Japanese advances further crippled production. Despite these immense limitations, the NRA's persistence and sacrifice were instrumental in Allied forces' eventual victory in the Pacific. The Italian soldier entered World War II with weapons that were generally outdated and poorly designed, especially the squad's main automatic weapon. The standard service rifle was the Carcano series, a reliable bolt-action weapon and produced in large numbers. However, Italy's attempt to shift from the 6.5mm to a 7.35mm cartridge just before the war created unnecessary logistical confusion. When the war began, production reverted to the 6.5mm round, which was often criticized for its weak stopping power. The real weakness of the Italian squad was the Beretta 30 light machine gun. It was notorious for jamming, overheating, and low rate of fire. It required oiled cartridges, used awkward 20-round clips, and fired from a closed bolt, making it one of the least reliable support guns of the war. Although Italy maintained basic ammunition standardization, its limited industry and poor weapon design restricted performance. Despite the bravery of its troops, the flawed Beretta 30 left Italian infantry with an adequate sustained firepower, making their squads consistently underpowered in battle. France's 1940 infantry loadout was a mix of promise and tragedy. The French soldier carried well-designed modern weapons, but suffered from limited production and slow rearmament. Adopted in 1936, the MAS-36 rifle was simple, durable, and chambered in the modern 7.5 by 54mm round. Unfortunately, only about 250,000 were available by the time Germany invaded, forcing many troops to rely on outdated Lebel and Berthier rifles from World War I. The FM-2429 light machine gun was reliable and well-liked, providing steady firepower with its 25-round magazine, though it overheated easily under sustained fire. France also developed an excellent MAS-38 submachine gun, but only about 2,000 reached the front before production was halted. Logistical limits and slow mobilization meant equipment was inconsistently issued, with mixed ammunition and gear complicating resupply. Despite the overall high weapon reliability, the French army entered battle with too little modern equipment and too much old stock. France had good gear, but not enough of it and not enough time to make it count. The Japanese infantry loadout was built on reliability and discipline, but fell behind in modernization. The Arisaka Type 99 service rifle was simple, durable, and chambered for the powerful 7.7 by 58mm round, giving excellent range and penetration. Its rugged bolt-action design made it ideal for jungle warfare, but limited the squad's overall rate of fire. The Type 99 light machine gun provided solid automatic support with a 30-round magazine and shared ammunition with the rifle, which simplified logistics. However, with few semi-automatic rifles or submachine guns, Japanese squads often lacked the rapid firepower needed against better-equipped Allied forces. The weapons themselves were exceptionally reliable, designed for harsh island and jungle conditions, though late war production cuts reduced quality. Japan's doctrine favored close assault tactics and bayonet charges, and while their weapons fit this style early in the war, they became outdated as combat evolved. Despite this, Japan's high standardization and reliability ranked above France's mixed arsenal, even though it was ultimately outmatched in sustained firepower by the mid-war period. The Soviet infantry loadout embodied mass production, simplicity, and reliability perfectly suited for the conditions of the Eastern Front. The main service rifle of the Soviet infantry was the Mosin Nagant. It was old, heavy, and crude, but incredibly durable and chambered in the powerful 7.62 by 54mm rimmed cartridge. Its simplicity and sheer production volume ensured the Red Army was always armed and supplied. Complementing it was the PPSH-41 submachine gun, one of the most iconic weapons of the war, firing the 7.62 by 25mm Tokarev round from a 71-round drum. Its blistering rate of fire made Soviet troops deadly in close combat, especially in cities like Stalingrad. The DP-27 light machine gun added dependable squad support with minimal maintenance needs. Soviet weapons were designed to work in mud, snow, and neglect, so reliability mattered more than refinement. The doctrine favored mass and attrition over precision and relied on quantity than the weapon itself. This pragmatic and standardized approach gave the Red Army unmatched endurance and ferocious close-range firepower, better than Japan's more rigid and outdated infantry system. The British infantry loadout was a model of balance, reliability, and logistical simplicity, marking the peak of the bolt-action era. The Lee-Enfield No. 4 Mark I, chambered in .303 British, was among the finest bolt-action rifles of World War II. Its 10-round magazine and smooth cock-on closing action enabled an exceptional rate of accurate fire, known as the Mad Minute. Paired with the Bren, the squad achieved superb medium-range firepower. The Bren, also in .303 caliber, offered excellent reliability, quick change barrels, and controllable sustained fire at about 500 rounds per minute. The introduction of the simple 9mm Sten gun further improved close-quarters flexibility for NCOs and assault troops. A single ammunition type for both rifle and LMG simplified logistics across Commonwealth forces, ensuring consistent supply and training efficiency. Renowned for their dependability, the Lee-Enfield and Bren remained in service long after the war. This combination of precision, reliability, and logistical harmony defined the British infantry as the true, pragmatic professionals. The German infantry squad was designed around the MG42. This legendary machine gun delivered unmatched suppressive fire, making the German squads the deadliest defensive unit of the war. A typical squad of 9 to 10 men supported the machine gun, with riflemen carrying the Kar-98K bolt-action rifle in 7.92mm Mauser. Accurate and reliable, the Kar-98K's 5-round capacity limited its rate of fire. This defined the rifleman's main role as mostly support, maneuver, and ammunition supply for the MG42 team. The MG42's blistering rate of fire at 1,300 rounds per minute, quick change barrel, and range beyond 1,000 meters gave it devastating battlefield control. However, this concentration of firepower also created a weakness. If the MG42 was disabled or ran out of ammunition, the squad lost much of its combat power. While nearly unbeatable in defense, German squads struggled offensively without added submachine guns or assault rifles. This doctrine delivered terrifying efficiency but limited adaptability. The American infantry squad was decades ahead of its time, built around distributed semi-automatic firepower rather than a single machine gun. The M1 Garand, chambered in .30-06, gave every rifleman rapid, accurate fire with its gas-operated semi-automatic action and 8-round en-bloc clip. This transformed the U.S. squad combat capability, letting every soldier deliver continuous aimed fire on the move, something no bolt-action squads could match. The Browning automatic rifle provided mobile automatic support at 650 rounds per minute, complementing rather than defining the squad's firepower. Because lethality was spread across all riflemen, the unit had no single point of failure. Even without the bar, a U.S. squad could still maintain heavy, sustained firepower. American weapons were reliable, rugged, and mass-produced in enormous numbers, backed by unmatched industrial capacity. Although multiple ammunition types added some logistical strain, the U.S. system's flexibility, resilience, and offensive mobility made it the most modern and effective infantry force of World War II. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next videos.